SmackDown took place tonight in Tempe, Arizona. We started the show off with Cody Rhodes walking backstage. He bumps into Jimmy Uso, who is on SmackDown because he's going after Jacob's attacker, who he believes to be Drew McIntyre. Cody asks Jimmy about Jay, and then he eventually heads to the ring. He cuts a promo on Drew ahead of their match at Saturday night's main event in about 8 days. Drew interrupts him. He's standing on the announce booth, cutting a promo on Cody. He's mad at the fans for still cheering Cody. Jimmy Uso jumps Drew, believing he's the attacker, and all I thought was, we saw this exact same storyline last year. The attacker turned out to be Jimmy Uso's wife. I think Jimmy Uso's taking a page out of his wife's playbook while she's pregnant. I think it's pretty obvious where this is going. I think he's the one who attacked Jacob. I think it's obvious. Jimmy will then probably align himself with the Vision, and I think he's going heel. He might not even align himself with the Vision, but I think he was the attacker, and he's going heel. So I want to mention this. Security stopped the brawl or whatever as Jimmy was attacking Drew in a separate match. One of the people, as a security guard, was a independent wrestler named Doug Mola, and he was one of the guys who pulled Quentin Jackson's son off of Psycho Stu as he was essentially trying to kill him. And he was charged, but he was not charged with attempted murder, which I think is bullshit. But he was there, and he worked as security, and I want to give a shout-out to him. Thank you for saving Psycho Stu's life, Doug. So I'm glad he got work tonight at a WWE show. Yeah, not part of the show as a worker, but at least he got to be part of a show as just a security guard. That's fine. And definitely a good guy, Doug Mola is. So Solo Sikoa comes out next, and he's with the MFT, who are all wearing the Sting face paints, JC and Talatanga and Tamatanga and Tangaloa. The Sting face paint. It looks awful on them, I'm not going to lie. So, the ratings killer, Solo Sikoa. Backstage, Drew's yelling at Nick Aldis, but Jimmy jumps him again, and it's pretty obvious Jimmy's the attacker. This set up a match later tonight between the two of them, which would main event the show. Then we get the MFT against Rey Fenix and Shinsuke Nakamura. All I thought was, by booking this match, by putting Solo Sikoa on TV, by putting the MFT on TV, man, they're throwing in the towel tonight as they're going head-to-head with Game 1 of the World Series. It's the Blue Jays and the Dodgers. I mean, they just thought, all right, we're not going to do anything tonight. We're going to get killed in the ratings. And by the way, I heard NXT got crushed in the ratings by the NBA's debut. And, they're definitely having ratings troubles all across wrestling. But that's what I thought. You're putting Solo Sikoa. He's the opening match, the MFT against the World Series. You're getting killed. And maybe it's bigger from where I am because the Blue Jays are playing, but I'm just thinking, wow, they're just going to get killed in the ratings. But Tala Tonga or whatever interfered and led to the MFT winning. Who cares? Nick Aldis talks to Jim Uso backstage. He makes a no disqualification match between the two of them tonight. That's Jimmy and Drew. Chelsea Green and Alba Fire are backstage, and they're trying to recruit Julia. And Julia seems unimpressed. Kiana James then comes in, tells them off, and Julia declines their offer. So, it's clearly they want to push Kiana, and just the way she's presented, it just seems like, they I don't know. I'll get to it later. I'll tell you why I think they're pushing Kiana. Tiffany Stratton's out next, and she's rocking some new camouflage gear. And she took on Kiana James, who was accompanied by the Women's United States Champion Julia. It's so obvious they want to use Julia to get Kiana over. So Julia attacked Tiffany, allowing Kiana to get the heat for a while on the break. Kiana's no good, and I'm talking about why she's getting pushed, as I alluded to earlier. She got some work done. Tiffany got some work done too, but Tiffany's actually very athletic. She's a star. She has charisma. She's likable. Kiana, not so much, but she did get some work. She got the same work done on her chest area. She got a boob job. I think that's why they're pushing her. She has big tits, and that's why they want to push her. She's an attractive woman already, but I remember her in NXT. Like, it seems like once she got that work, it's now they want to push her. That's how I almost feel with Kiana. I don't know. So Tiffy hit a swanton followed by the prettiest moonsault ever for the win. After the match, Julia jumps Tiffy, and then Jade Cargill comes out, makes the save, and she's going to face Tiffy at Saturday night's main event. They didn't announce it yet on the show, but it was announced on social media, or was reported on social media. And then Jade helps up Tiffy after she fought off Julia. She raises Tiffy's arm, and it's pretty obvious it was going to happen. She then turns on Tiffany, beats her down, turns heel. She really puts a number on Tiffy, man. She beat her up that badly, throws her on the announce booth. Jade was still rocking the scar, and this sets up their match. A Jade Cargill heel turn is what she needed. She needs to be a killer, a monster, like someone who people are afraid of, and that's what they got here. She's no longer a smiley babyface. This is what Jade needed, and I think she desperately needs a victory at Saturday's main event, and I think she's probably going to get it. I still think she should have just won at SummerSlam. That's 3 months ago now. That's insane. It's going to be 3 months later until they finally do the title change, most likely at Saturday night's main event. Really insane, but she should have just won at SummerSlam, in my opinion. Ilja Dragunov is backstage. He bumps into Sammy. Sammy congratulates him, and he wants Ilya to continue the tradition of the U.S. Open Challenge. Il tells him how much he respects him and will continue it. Kathy Kelly is backstage. She rushes. She's like sprinting to interview Jade Cargill. And Jade is now, she's a heel, basically. She's saying she's taking the title, and she really needs to win. Let's just put it like that. Hope I pronounce his name. Ilya, I'm not sure. He's out next. Fans chant, "You deserve it." He cuts a promo. He talks about his recovery before the match, and then his opponent turns out to be Aleister Black, who answers the challenge with his wife Zelina Vega. They have a new entrance together, and all I thought was, wow. This is why they decided to let Karrion Kross and Scarlett go. I mean, they took Kross and Scarlett's gimmick. It's practically the same thing. I mean, Zelina looks great, I'm not going to lie, as she does her husband's entrance, but Scarlett looked great too, and I'm thinking, I mean, they could have just kept them. I don't know. It just feels like they wanted to do something with them, but they didn't like Kross or something, so they just gave the gimmick to Black and his wife, Zelina Vega. That seems to be what happened here. So we get and I would be upset right now if I was Kross and Scarlett. I would be pretty pissed off. So we get the U.S. Open Challenge match. U.S. title, Ilya Dragunov defending against Aleister Black, who has his wife Zelina Vega in his corner, who played a big role in this match. She attacks Dragunov early, allowing Black to get the heat for a while. And us international viewers, we were fortunate enough not to have commercial breaks during U.S. commercial breaks on our Netflix, but now we got ads. So just like the Americans, we now have to deal with ads. So we missed a lot of this match. This was the one match where I kind of really wish they wouldn't have done that, because you know this is going to be a really good match. But with the second break, we didn't get ads, but only on the first one. So Zelina keeps interfering, and then she's ejected. Damian Priest then comes out, and he's like walking to the ring like with a purpose. He's got these sunglasses on, and then he removes the sunglasses, revealing burn marks on one of his eye, and that actually looks really good. The makeup job looked really good. Aleister Black is distracted. He turns around and gets hit with Torpedo Moscow by Dragunov, who gets the win. So Ilya retains. After the match, Damian Priest attacks Aleister Black. He throws him around, puts him on the announce booth, goes for a concerto on the announce booth. But Zelina Vega jumps on Damian's back, and she rakes at the she rakes at the bad eye. And then she gets off. She escapes with her husband, Aleister Black, through the crowd. And all I thought was, wow, this is a perfect opportunity to introduce Lola Vice. This is where she comes in, goes after Zelina. This is how you introduce her. I hope they do. So, backstage, Kathy Kelly, who said, let's be honest, she looks great tonight. She always does, but she looks great tonight. We have to say it. She incredible. So she's interviewing Carmelo Hayes on The Miz, and he says that they're even, and he can get back to being him again. So it seems like that's the end of the rivalry. I hope so, but I don't know if I hope the feud's over. I don't want to see them feud anymore. I really don't want to see Miz on TV anymore. Then Kit Wilson interrupts him. It sets up a match next week between them, so I guess that's where Miz is going to interfere. Backstage, Fraxium congratulates Ilya Dragunov after the win, but they also both want title shots. Then DIY walks in after Dragunov leaves. They mock Fraxium, they challenge them, but they leave. And then Tama Tonga randomly walks up to them. He has the makeup off, and he does his yeah chant. It's awful. I guess they want to keep doing that. I don't know. But he had the makeup off, and you can tell that it was washed off his face. So we go backstage to the locker room. We get Kathy Kelly on our screen again, which is great. And we also get Alexa Bliss on our screen, which is great. And we also get Charlotte Flair on the screen. So Kathy interviews Alexa and Charlotte on Bayley's open challenge for them on Raw. She wants both her and Lyra to get a tag team title shot against Alexa and Charlotte. They accept. And then Nia Jax randomly barges in. She talks about backstabbing and stuff and how she doesn't have friends. And Charlotte brushes her off. And all I thought was, this is awkward because I think Charlotte probably hates her from that roast. If you recall on that roast of WrestleMania with Tony Hinchcliffe this past, I think it was the night after WrestleMania Night 2, or the same night actually as WrestleMania Night 2, Nia took some real personal shots at Charlotte, some real nasty shots, and I'm sure Charlotte hasn't forgotten. And all I thought was, wow, that must be awkward. But then the focus goes to Alexa. Alexa stands up to Nia as well. Then Nia mocks her for her height. She bends down to her level to mock Alexa, and eventually she challenges her to a match next week on Halloween on SmackDown, and Alexa accepts. And all I thought was, oh great, not this fucking rivalry again. This awful rivalry from 2018 is renewed. I mean, if Nia's gonna leave, okay, she wants to have her last match with Alexa, who I think, I don't know, still was her best friend for a while. Fine, but I mean, I don't need to see Alexa Bliss and Nia Jax. I love Alexa. I love seeing her on my TV every week, but Nia and Alexa, I don't want to revisit that rivalry ever again. Drew McIntyre was out next. They announced Jade Cargill and Tiffany Stratton for the WWE Women's Championship at Saturday night's main event. And Jade better win that match, so she gets her another title shot against Tiffy in about 8 days. So our main event's up next. No disqualification match. Drew McIntyre was out first earlier, and then he would take on Jimmy Uso in the main event. So they brawl through the crowd. A chair is introduced, as is a table. Jimmy eventually hits a Samoan drop through the table, and then he goes for the Uso splash, but Drew grabs a chair and throws it at Jimmy's head. Then he hits the Claymore for the win. After the match, Drew puts Jimmy's head in a Pillmanized position. Looks like he's going to take him out, but instead he just chokes him. And then Cody makes a save after a bunch of officials tried to stop him before. Cody throws him over the barricade. He goes to check on Jimmy, but Drew sneaks back in the ring and lays Cody out with a Claymore. And that's how SmackDown ended. All really to build up Saturday night's main event, which is in a week. And I thought they did a pretty good job at that. One thing is, there's no focus at all on Survivor Series. And we're still a while away anyways, but there's, no focus on that. And that's a little disappointing. But that was SmackDown. I thought probably the third week in a row, a pretty decent show. Not as good as the last 2 weeks, but I thought it was pretty good overall. So it's definitely improving, I have to say. And I thought SmackDown's been pretty bad this year, but this last few weeks I thought have been pretty damn good. They've made some creative changes, and I think it's shown. So I enjoyed the show overall. We'll see what happens next week. I don't know if they're going to do a Halloween-themed SmackDown. That'd be pretty cool if they do, but I don't know if they will. So we'll see what they do next. But that was SmackDown, and Survivor Series is clearly down the road still. I'll say that. All the focus is on Saturday night's main event, which is in about a week.